A jury has found rapper Tory Lanez guilty of shooting fellow rapper Megan Thee Stallion after a 2020 house party. And Eyewitness News reporter Christian Cordero with more on the chaos in the courtroom after the verdict was announced.
Today, a jury of 7 women and 5 men decided rapper Tory Lanez's criminal fate. Guilty, guilty, guilty on assault with a semi-automatic firearm, having a concealed, not registered firearm in a vehicle, and discharge of a firearm with gross negligence. Lanez.
That's pretty insane, yo. As a person that personally has been following this trial, not only following the trial, but listening to the interview that she did with Gail, in which she lied about not having any kind of sexual interaction with Tory Lanez in the first place. Just looking at how things played out, there's just too many questions. Now, obviously, nobody knows what happened, but what we do know is that her story has changed. She's pivoted time and time again, and that this is gross negligence, in my opinion, of the criminal justice system, and that we can allow something like this to happen, and for him to be convicted by a jury of his peers is absolutely insane to me. But let's continue.
Whose legal name is Daystar Peterson, is convicted of shooting rap superstar Megan Thee Stallion in the foot after a house party in July 2020. Both sides built their case around jealousy. The defenses revolved around a jealous love triangle, while prosecutors shrugged that off as prejudice, saying her love life was only brought up in court because she is a woman.
No, the love life was brought up. And see, if that's the sentiment of the jury, then that means that they're biased. They've been influenced by this society by which we've said believe all women. It's absolutely a factor, especially considering that if you are a person that is in a love triangle, that heavily influences what exactly took place in the night of the incident. And all I can say is that, A, either she had a bomb team and a great prosecutor and money talks, and to be able to select the jury based off of their identification as a simp or not, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy that the dude is possibly facing 22 years as a result of the gross negligence, in my opinion, of the jury. It's crazy to me. But it's other things that I need to take into consideration also, and I'll share that shortly.
Instead accusing Lanez of having a bruised ego, jealous of Megan's status. She testified he shot her after she insulted his career.
Constantly having to prove she's a victim because society sides with a man.
Megan testified on the consequences she has faced by bringing this
clearly society sides with a woman
case to court, but has felt the need to amplify the struggle Black women face in getting criminal justice as victims and feeling protected as women in the rap industry.
See, and this is where it hits home, because it is a real gender war. And for people that don't think that it's a gender war, because, I read a comment today, and the comments basically said, this, Black women versus Black men thing is tired. Why can't Black men just hold Black women down? Well, this is why. Because in my personal opinion, there's an assault on Black men. There's a agenda that Black women signed up for and is at the forefront of hanging Black men out to dry. Now, that does not completely absolve Tory Lanez of not executing discipline and not even putting himself in that position in the first place. But that's not the conversation. That's a video to come later on today, and I got my own personal thoughts on that. But the whole idea that they mentioned this shows the bias against men, specifically Black men by Black women. And obviously, it's not all women, so I'm not just going to completely say that, but to completely throw this man's career away whenever there's a shadow of a doubt, because society says don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And it's too many men that's getting out of jail today that was wrongfully convicted and so on and so forth. Whenever there's a shadow of a doubt, and this is a man that has significant resources, I'm assuming that he had the best lawyers on hand, and he still, even though it was revealed that, she did have, problems and jealousy and multiple different sexual partners and all that other type of stuff. They saying that none of that plays and none of that should factor in. Everything factors in. How you grew up, what your sentiment is, how it is that you're moving going forward. Everything is supposed to factor in as far as determining whether or not you are on an up and up and you about your business. But obviously that's not the case. Obviously we do have a bias, and it's unfortunate that on a regular basis, and this is what they're doing throughout the industry. They're taking time to take down one piece after another, anybody that has any significant visibility, to determine whether or not this is truly a gender war. And so I don't think that this is a war that men signed up for. This is a war that men are now facing. And now, you had the Me Too movement, you got this, and you got several other incidences that's influencing our behavior. And then you say, well, why are y'all divesting against us? This is why men are divesting against you.
Conviction eases her of the former. Her attorney tells ABC News, quote, "The jury got it right.
Of course he said
I am
that.
thankful there is justice for Meg." While District Attorney George Gascon says, "You faced unjust and despicable scrutiny that no woman should ever face, and you have been an inspiration to others across LA County and the nation." Tory Lanez and the rest of the courtroom didn't really have a reaction when the verdict was read, but immediately after, there were so many emotions. His dad and his father's wife both stood up to yell at prosecutors, calling them evil and wicked. This was right after the jurors had exited the courtroom. So he was yelling at them. It turned into quite the scene. Tory Lanez at one point actually got up alongside his defense attorneys to try and de-escalate as they were escorted out, which took about a minute or so. And then Lanez surrendered himself to deputies who took him into custody. He faces up to 22 years in prison. His sentencing is scheduled for January 27th.
That's
in
crazy.
downtown LA, I'm Christiane
22
Cordero,
years.
ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown.
20 up to 22 years in prison. That is absolutely insane, and I can't imagine being in a position to where my fate is controlled by other people who are biased against me. And all of that, this is a bad do. This is a bad do. This is one thing to be convicted. And see, society is so messed up. And let me tell you how it's messed up. People thought that it was white people against black people, and it's not. It's your own people as far as how you, because this is why I don't align myself with people based off of the color of their skin, but the content of their character. It's your own people or the people that's closest to you that will do you the worst when the chips is on the line. And what we're witnessing now is literally the face of America today. There is no safe haven for black men. Everybody will always give women the benefit of the doubt, especially black women. And this is also why you see that there's a breakdown in society, and that they're saying that other factors don't play, but every factor played when it came to convicting Tory Lanez. Now, I'm not necessarily on Tory Lanez's side as far as the behavior, as far as him putting himself in this position and all that in the first place. And like I said, that's a completely different conversation, and I'm going to hit on later on today. But all this does is confirm for me that men on a regular basis, especially with any visibility and power, have to be very careful how they move. Don't believe that people are on your side just because they cheering for you on the sidelines when you're winning, because when the chips is on the line, you all you got. You're the only person that's going to have to do that sentence. You got to do that by yourself. And who knows, what happens after that. They say he's going to get deported back to Canada. He's facing 22 years. That's egregious. That's absolutely insane. But who knows? It's a possibility that I can be wrong, which is why I want you guys to be able to comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think that this is egregious, that it's unfortunate that he is facing this situation and that justice was not served, but this was more or less a stamp of approval on the fact that men are under attack, Women are automatically to be believed. And it doesn't matter how credible you are or how many lies you told in the beginning. The only thing that matters is whether or not your fate is being left up to a system that's highly influenced by how it is that we vote in society. And there is an assault on men, specifically black men. I want to know your comments. Let me know. If you need to kick it with me personally, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com, and we're going to get you scheduled for a session. In addition to that, make sure you join the Patreon, the Bag Chasers, where we got a lot of information where you can level up, including getting your finances right, how it is that you need to move going into the new year. We got a meetup, a Patreon meetup on New Year's Eve in Miami this upcoming weekend. And then we also have the exclusive uncensored interviews, including former Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick, Brittany Renner, Lamar Odom, Charleston White. We got all of that. So make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. I think that this was a very, very bad look on the system and the environment in which we live in, but I could be wrong. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.